So welcome to our map session. It was kind of me and Alan. We discussed it's going to be partly looking at Apple Maps as well as looking at Google Maps. For those who have looked at the event last night, there's actually a few updates that was made on Maps as well. Um, so yeah, you kind of want to try not to make this into a Maps versus iCloud Maps, but I'll try my best not to be biased, guys. For those who are using both, I'm using both, and I'll show you guys when and where I actually use Google Maps instead of Apple Maps. But without further ado, I'm just going to share my screen, and we can get into the swing of it. So on the screen, as you guys can see, I've got the both my phone as well as my maps up. And I'm going to be working with both, not so much with the ones on the Mac OS, but more on the one on the phone, because most of the time, we are using our phones to get around. We use it um, as a GPS or as a tracking device within our vehicles and so on. So I'm gonna more use this one. So I've got both Google Maps as well as Apple Maps. I'm gonna start with Apple Maps. So I'm gonna go into it, and here you can see that I'm just gonna tap on the little arrow in the top, right, which will then take me into my location. So once I'm on there, guys, you will notice that it actually shows a little circle with an arrow on it, right? And if I turn my chair, you will see that the arrow is also turning. So it indicates which direction you are facing. And if I double tap on the top location button or the arrow in the top right-hand corner, it will automatically set a compass. So it will show you if you're facing north or not. But at the same time, if you turn, then it will actually turn the map in terms of you being the central reference point. Okay. So that is the how you can actually set like a compass. If you're lost and you want to find your north, then you can use that as well for that purpose, especially if you're in a rural area. So the other thing you can also, so the main thing that we talked about when it comes down to maps is, of course, when you want to use it um, as a tracking device, or if you want to find a location, right? So now if I go and I tap on the search, uh, the one thing I will pick up is when I tap on the search, it gives me all of these search nearby options. Okay, so there's the transit stations, restaurants, and so forth. Transit stations, we're still getting there because, as you know it, South Africa doesn't have the most reliable transit systems. But if I tap on it, it actually shows me all the transit systems in the area, okay, or close by. And if I zoom in and out, and guys, you can do the pinch or zoom, or you can just double tap on on the maps, and you can zoom in and out with one finger. Okay, so yeah, it now shows me 5 there and so on. But if I zoom in, it shows me much closer what is in the area. Okay, one thing I picked up was you cannot, if you select the transit or the station and I tap on directions, it will not provide me with the transport directions. So this is how limited it is when it comes to South Africa. But if you say in the UK and in the US, or in many parts in Europe, and also in Asia, then it will actually give you the directions from where you are to the transit station. Okay, so that is the one thing. I'm just going to tap on the close button to take it away and close it again. Now, if I tap on my location again, just going to close that, and I tap on the search. So if I now want to go to a specific area, if I type in, say, I'm just going to type in my work. So I'm just typing work, and the reason why it comes up as work because it's in my contact, okay, and I also save my other office as a favorite. We're going to come and we look at that as well. So if I tap on that, okay, it will show me the location. It will give me the button directions. If I tap on directions, it will now show me, okay, it shows my location, and it shows there that the public transport directions is not available. I'm just going to switch to drive. If I tap on drive, it will actually show me the waypoint to it. If I tap on the go button, and it will start the. Proceed to Iona Street, then turn left. Let me just turn down the volume. So it will then start the process, but I do have other options as well. So if I now go and I swipe upwards, it also gives me the way to find gas stations on the way, if I want to grab some lunch or coffee and so on. So if I tap on, say, I go with gas station, okay, and I maybe want to refuel on the way. So if I tap on the refueling option, it will give me additional minutes to my travel time. So if I now say go at 4 minutes, okay, you would notice that it continues the route even though I tapped on the gas station at the top. It shows the resume route to Rabenburg. So if I want to now say, look, I don't want to go that route and I want to spend that 4 minutes, then I can just tap on the resume button, and then it will continue through to that route. Okay. So also, if I look at the other options, I can share my ETA. I can share my ETA with other people as well, or I can share it with another device. So if I now go and and I can go to showing the details. If I tap on the details, it will give me a point, turn by turn point location where I can actually go into as well. Now, further on, I can set my audio. I can make it no volume or no voice if I want to listen to my music and I just want to look at the maps, and I can make it louder if I want to hear the voice only or over my music, then I can actually do that as well. Now, that is in terms of how I can quickly find my location. Now, earlier on, we talked about if you want to go to a gas station or so on, or to a store, etc. So this is also a good thing for, say, for instance, you want to go to a mall or to a shopping center, and you want to find like certain points within that shopping center. You want to find a specific food place or clothing place or so on. So up to maps also gives you like an internal view of the place, of the shops inside of it. So I'm just going to end this quickly. And this time around, let's go to, well, let me go to Canal Walk. Okay, so now if I go to Canal Walk, right, you would notice that it shows me all of the food places as well as quite a few of the shops, right? I'm just going to change my map quickly, and I'm going to go to maps, or let me go to satellite view. Okay, so now I can see under my satellite view, and if I tap on, say, for instance, any of these food places, there I can see this Primi Piazza, and if I should tap on any of the other shops as well, it will give me now not only the shop, but it will show me some more details of that place. It will give me the address, and I can go to the website as well. And some places, they actually give you more information. So if I close this, so if I go back to Primi, and yeah, it will show me the opening days or the opening times, the address, the contact number. It will give me additional reviews of people and so on. So it will give you additional information on top of what you can see, okay, just on the map. So that is also a good thing about using your Apple Maps. Now you would notice that on the maps as well, I've got it shows me my weather as well. So if I tap on the little cloud on my bottom right hand side, just close it down. There we go. And it will show me at what time it will start raining and so on. So it looks like at 3 right o'clock, right through to 5 o'clock, we're going to expecting some rain and the Milnerton side. Okay. So it also gives you like the weather for that location if you tap on the little cloud at the bottom. Now, further on, if I go to if I zoom out, there's another cool setting within Maps called Fly Overview. So if I now zoom totally out, okay, and you will notice that if I zoom out, there is a 3D button that appears right there by Cape Town, okay. If I tap on that 3D button, then it will give me the flyover option. Here you can see it's giving me the flyover button. I can also tap on the directions to find the directions straight to town. So if I tap on the flyover, now this is a good um, a setting built into maps or feature, I might say. And it allows you to actually do a flyover over a certain city, you know, especially if you're going to visit that city, you're going to go as a tourist and you want to see all the spots and so on. So then you can actually do a flyover. The reason why I want to use the phone for this, because the phone gives you like a augmented reality through the phone, and you will see what I mean. So if I tap on flyover, okay, let's see if it's going to play along with me this time. There we go. Spinning alive. Here we go. So now I can sit and I can turn my chin, look at Cape Town, what it looks like, and so on. It shows me all of the spots, and I can turn it to landscape view and so on. So that's pretty cool. You know, and with this, Apple Maps actually leapfrogged ahead of Google Maps with this feature. Now, one of the good things about this is that, let me just move it again to the side. If I triple tap on the screen, then it will give me the option. It will come up here at the bottom and say start city tour. So if I tap on that, then it will start a tour of the city. Okay, and it will show me all of the spots. There we go. So it goes to Cape Town Stadium, and it shows you like a label when it gets the Greenpoint Stadium. And then it will go to the various areas. And it's not only for, you know, this is just for Cape Town, but now say for instance, we go to, let me zoom out totally. And let's go to, let's say, there's New York. You know, you can also see it's a 3D button. So if I tap on that and I say fly over, it will give me the same setup. Now it's starting to load now. I'm so glad that the internet is playing along this time. So there we go, and I can view it right around. And again, if I triple tap, and then it gives me start city tour. So now it will give you a tour of the entire city, show you all the spots and so on. Okay. So that is pretty cool. So if I'm just going to stop this quickly, and you know, just to give you like an indication in terms of the when it comes to other areas like in parts in Europe or in the States where they've got you know, where the transit system is built into the Apple Maps and so on. So if I zoom in, right, you can see that if I now go into the I tap on the inspector button, which is the ID in the top right, and I can now look at transport. And if I now close this down, then it will highlight all the transport places. Just waiting for my phone to refresh. There we go. So it will highlight all the transport places. And as I zoom in, right, it will actually bring up a little, looks like a binoculars that came up. And if I tap on it, it will give me a street view of the place there. Okay, so it's something that we don't have on our side as yet, but if you're touring, if you're going to the States or to UK and so on, you can actually go and take advantage of the spin maps as well. So there's another thing that you can actually use on top of that. So the one thing when it comes down to the Google Maps has similar features. Now, before I go into Google Maps, it's just some settings that I want to take advantage of in Maps as well, guys. So I'm just gonna go into settings. Okay. Applications seem to kick me out. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna go back and show my phone again. There we go. So to take advantage of the settings in Maps, if I go to settings here, and I could have gone into Maps and just say settings, but fine, I'm just going to do it this way. I think I can quickly find it. There we go. If I go to Maps, right, there's some settings that I would say you have to switch on. Now you can choose your preferred transport type. If you're out in a city and you prefer walking than driving, fine, you can switch it to walking. You can switch on your distance. Also, the ride booking extension. So if you switch to transport, then you can select Uber as the ride option. And this setting here specifically the show park location. So if you've got Bluetooth in your car or you've got CarPlay, then your phone will remember where you have parked. So that's a good thing to actually have switched on. Okay. Now, when we go to say Google Maps, the one thing when it comes to Google Maps, or the one thing that Apple Maps actually focus on is privacy. And the reason for privacy is that Google Maps saves your information in the background under your Google account, where Apple Maps don't do that, right? Also, on also the uh, Google Maps have what they call the Street View option, where again Apple Maps have the flyover option. So again, you can use both in when it comes down to seeing the place actually in Street View, as well as when you're doing a flyover when you're working with Apple Maps. So in Google Maps, similar features that I have, I can use the search here. I can search for the place. There you can see I've got my home, my work set up, so I can actually save locations. If I go to more, I can, there I've got those locations set up. And I can, I'm just gonna quickly get out of my search. Now, next to my search at the top, you would notice that I've got my account set up. So it will, things change a lot if you go and you actually go and set up your account, okay? And if you don't want any information to be saved, you can turn on incognito mode. Then it will not save any other information on that. So if I turn on incognito, then you can see that it says there it will not save browsing search history and update your location history and so on. So I'll just click on close and I'll then you will see at the top it's now changed to that mode. So it's almost like setting up a private setting when you're in the maps. So I'll just turn off incognito mode. The same as you want to find fuel stations and so on is all built in. It gives you your weather, etc. But when you zoom in, if I'm just going to tap on my arrow to show me my location, when I zoom in, right, and I zoom in and I tap on the, say if I just put in a pin drop there, okay, then it will, after setting a pin drop, you will see it will give me my street view. So I can then tap and it will show me my street view. Okay. So yeah, that is the uh, the advantages that Google Maps has. Well, I don't want to say over Apple Maps, but just one of the advantages. So guys, also the reason why I use Google Maps, or also that I've got it built in, there are certain, when it comes to rural areas, I picked up that Google Maps actually finds those areas pretty well, where Apple Maps, it's still a little bit shaky in that end. But look, I mean, Google Maps is much younger Apple Maps is much younger than Google Maps, but in the time that they have improved, is quite alarming, as well as the fact that they've added all of these additional features to it is where I'll put my corner into the Apple Map side of things. But yeah, that's my presentation for both Google Maps as well as when it comes down to using Apple Maps. Any questions, guys?
Angelo, the flyover of maps, do you know how often that is updated?
Not sure when, but I'm actually expecting that in iOS 14 that they will add more locations to it.
Yeah. No, it's just that when you showed us Cape Town at the soccer stadium or the football stadium, looked pretty dreary. So I don't know how old those maps are.
You know, I think the flyover is more of a kind of tourist come educational component. Yeah. And we are a pretty young country with cities that aren't that old. But if you do a flyover of Venice, you know, there's not a hell of a lot that can change other than the branding of the fast food joint that's on St. Mark's Square. But St. Mark's Square is going to be St. Mark's Square, hopefully, well, unless the floodwaters come in, it's going to be there for a long time. So yeah, for new countries, young places, it's not going to update as updates are probably far more relevant. I think you'll find there's about 180 cities currently that have flyover, which is I get lost for hours, absolutely hours in there flying over cities. I just love it. But I think they'll probably be adding a lot more before they start updating existing ones.
Thanks, Angela. Excellent as always. I mean, so much goes on behind the scenes, which I never use. Fascinates me that it's there, and I don't even know it's there. But anyway, it's why I watch these great presentations. But two quick questions. First of all, how much data am I using with when I'm using maps? It seems to chew up my data a lot. So if I, just for fun, use to get from A to B here in Cape Town, you know, if I spend 20 minutes a day on maps, it seems to use a lot of data. Is that the case?
The one thing that I noticed that chews up a lot of the mobile data, Michael, is actually music. So if you're listening to music while you're driving and you've got your mobile data turned on to your music, then that might suck up your data. Apple Maps doesn't actually use a lot of data. I've actually checked out my data, and I mean, sometimes I have to get to new clients, you know, and it takes very little, very little. So I'm just going to share my screen again, and I will just check these two things out, right? Mm-hmm. And for those who are there as well, maybe this can also help you out. So in my, as you can see on my phone, right, I keep mobile data turned on because of the amount of store or the amount of data that it uses. I keep it on all the time. But the same thing you can also do when especially if you're most of the time when you're driving, you've got your music set on, right? Then check on your, where is it now? I have to go
right
into
at the top,
music.
mobile
There we
data.
go. There we go. In your music, check there if your mobile data is also switched on, right?
Right.
Because if that is switched on and data is very important to most of us when it comes to our mobile devices, then I would say, turn that off when you are listening to music. But if you turn it off, then you can only listen to the music that is being downloaded to your device, right? Not the ones that's sitting in your Apple Music that you're streaming. So yeah, so that is, I've picked that up with me because one song is about 5 megabytes, guys, to about 10 megs. Times that by how many songs you are streaming, you get your answer.
Ange, can I ask you to show something while you've got that open?
Sure.
Because you can tell exactly how much data you're using on maps. If you scroll to the top there and go to the mobile data. Now, if you scroll down, you'll see current period. Just go back up a little bit.
There we go. It shows it.
Go to the top of this list first.
Okay.
Yeah, stop there.
There we go.
You can see current period, 205 gigabytes, and you can see per application how much data is being used. So you can see music there is used 2.6 gig of mobile data. And if you scroll down to maps, you'll see maps used 36 megabytes. So it's not a thumbs up. You can tell exactly how much it's used. And if you want to test this before you go on a trip, check here how much data is being used. Set your location, go to a drive, get to your destination and see how much it's using.
Fascinating. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys. All of
Thank
the
you,
best.
Shelley. We'll see you next week. Oh, no, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes,
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.